And I said, do you think it's fair that we're paying $200 billion to keep Canada going? And what would happen, I asked him, what would happen if we didn't do that, if we didn't subsidize Canada? He said, we'd be a failed nation. And I said, then you should be a state.
One of the messages that has been made clear to businesses across this country and by governments, but not only by governments, by Canadians, is that in this country, we stick up for each other. The number of people who are making choices to buy Canadian, to support a local producer, to buy local agricultural products, businesses that are looking to strengthen their supply chains to include small businesses from across this country instead of south of the border. That's what we do when we're facing economic hardships like a potential trade conflict with the United States.
Canada has been making some seriously bold moves lately, and it's sending ripples through the US market. Picture it like this. Canada just decided to rearrange its entire economic furniture, and its next-door neighbor, the United States, is feeling the tremors. The economic ties between the two countries have always been complex, but now things are shifting in ways we haven't seen before. And for some in the US, this change is raising some tough questions. One of those questions, if they had to stand alone, could they? A recent discussion with Canada's leadership exposed just how interconnected these economies are. When a top US official, let's just say the equivalent of Canada's Prime Minister, was asked why the US was sending over $200 billion a year to Canada, there was no clear answer. Another question? Why the US allows millions of Canadian-made cars to flood its market while restricting US exports? Again, no direct answer. But what's clear is that this isn't just talk. A real fight is brewing. A fight that Canada didn't necessarily ask for, but one it must now face head-on. So, what's the first move? It starts with Canadian retailers pulling US products off their shelves. The government isn't forcing private businesses to follow suit, but consumers? They're making their own decisions. From liquor stores to supermarkets, Canadians are doubling down on homegrown products, preferring Canadian wine, food, and other goods over American alternatives. It's a massive shift, and the effects are only beginning to be felt. Tariffs are at the heart of this economic shakeup. When the US imposed a hefty 25% tariff on most Canadian imports, the reaction was swift. Almost overnight, Canadian consumers turned away from American goods. This wasn't just a small dent in sales, it was a seismic shift. In just 1 month, sales of US products in Canada dropped by a staggering 20%. That's not just a statistic, that's a statement. Canadians were making it clear, if trade policies didn't work in their favor, they had other options. In response, Canadian retailers jumped on board, proudly promoting domestic products. The Buy Canadian movement spread like wildfire. The Buy Beaver app, a tool helping consumers find Canadian-made products, saw over 35,000 downloads in just 2 weeks. What started as a reaction to tariffs quickly became a nationwide movement. But this isn't just about avoiding tariffs. It's about national pride and economic independence. A recent survey found that Canada's bold economic moves are significantly impacting the US economy, and that 85% of Canadians now prefer buying locally made products. That's a huge shift. Supermarkets, department stores, and even online retailers had to adapt, prioritizing homegrown brands over American imports. The shift didn't just impact food, it stretched across industries, from clothing to cosmetics, electronics to household goods. Canadian businesses thrived while American brands scrambled to maintain their foothold. This isn't just a Canada-US issue. The impact of these policies is going global. Countries in Europe, including economic giants like Germany and France, are reassessing their reliance on US imports. Trade agreements are being scrutinized, and businesses worldwide are rethinking their supply chains. Many are looking to Canada, Asia, and South America for alternatives. This isn't just a temporary response, it's a long-term strategic shift. The message is clear. Companies that fail to adapt risk being left behind. As Canadian industries gain confidence, global investors are taking notice. The world is waking up to what Canada has to offer, and its markets are seeing a surge in international interest. The Canadian government didn't just sit back and watch this unfold. Beyond condemning U.S. tariffs, they took decisive action. Counter-tariffs were introduced, targeting billions of dollars worth of American goods. The message was loud and clear. If the U.S. wanted to play hardball, Canada was ready to respond in kind. Businesses across Canada restructured their operations to adapt. Farmers ramped up production, manufacturers increased output, and retailers shifted their focus to local products. Online marketplaces saw a surge in demand for Canadian brands. This wasn't just a defensive move, it was an aggressive push toward economic self-reliance. One of the biggest winners in this trade war? Local businesses. Canadians embraced their homegrown industries like never before, fueling demand for domestic products. This wasn't just an economic decision, it was a cultural shift. Supporting local businesses became a matter of national pride. Communities thrived as people put their money where their values were, strengthening the economy in ways that no policy alone could achieve. Despite claims of energy independence, the U.S. still relies heavily on Canadian energy. Every day, millions of barrels of oil and billions of cubic feet of natural gas cross the border, powering American homes and businesses. If Canada were to cut back its exports, the U.S. would face serious consequences. Prices would skyrocket, and energy stability would be at risk. American refineries are specifically designed to process Canada's heavy crude. A disruption in supply would send shockwaves through the industry. The same goes for natural gas. Any slowdown in Canadian exports could lead to widespread blackouts and surging energy costs. This dependency is a stark reminder that, despite political tensions, the two nations remain deeply intertwined. In a bold move, Canada has proposed a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles. If enacted, this could have major consequences for the electric vehicle industry. Tesla, which dominates the EV market, stands to lose billions if Canadian consumers turn away from its cars due to price hikes. But it's not just about Tesla. Major automakers like Ford and GM could also see disruptions. If tariffs escalate, the North American auto industry as a whole could face major challenges. Higher costs, lower sales, and supply chain disruptions could lead to job losses and economic instability. As companies scramble to adapt, the focus will shift to innovation, efficiency, and long-term resilience. Consumers will feel the impact too: rising prices, fewer choices, and a slower push toward electric vehicles. The future of the auto industry hangs in the balance as trade tensions escalate. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into global economics. Thanks for watching.